Hi everybody, it's Cathryn from In the Pink Designs. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. My project today, I used Nuts About Squirrels stamp set along with some of the leaves from Giving Gifts dies. This box measures 5.5 by 2 1/4 by 1 inch, and it has a belly band, and then it lifts up just like this. Now you can always put a sentiment or write a little something right here. And inside is my mom's favorite little cookie. These are Mallomars, and they're by Nabisco, and they're usually only available in the fall and the winter. By the spring and summer they get all melty, so they don't produce them at those times. So in honor of my mom, I figured I would do this project. I used, of course, the Nuts About Squirrels, the Giving Gifts dies. I used the layering circle dies and some of the matte decorative dots for this. Okay, now if you're new here, please subscribe, and if you like my video today, please hit the like button, and you can hit the notification bell if you want to be notified when I upload a video. Okay, so this is the things that we need today. Okay, we need a piece of Cajun Craze that is 8 3/4 by 7.5. We need another piece for the belly band that is 1.5 by 8. Now I'm also using Harvest Meadow Designer Series Paper, and we need a bunch. Now I put 3 of this large size, 1 on the front, 1 on the back, and 1 inside on the body of the box. You won't have to, you could get away with just doing 1 if you don't want to even put 1 on the back and inside. Alright, so, but I used 3 that are 5 1/4 by 2. 2 that are 5 1/4 by 3. They're for the long sides, and for the short side, 2 by 3/4. And all of this will be listed on my blog, which I link below. Okay, we need a basic white circle from the layering circle dies. The basic white circle is about 2 1/8, and then a bumblebee circle that is about 2 3/8. And then a scallop circle out of Cajun Craze that is about 2 5/8. Okay, so those are all the things that we need. Oops, also I used from the Giving Gifts dies, I cut the die once out of Cajun Craze and once out of Bumblebee, and I took 4 leaves, 2 of each color. Alright, so that's the things that we need. Let's start with our 8 3/4 by 7.5 inch Cajun Craze cardstock. I'm going to get my Simply Scored tool, and we're going to start on the 8 3/4 side. And we're going to score 2 1/4, 3 1/4, 5.5, and 6.5. Then we're going to switch it to the 7.5 inch side, and we're going to score at 1 and at 6.5, and that's it. Alrighty, now we're going to fold and burnish. I think we're down to the last 2.5 weeks of celebration. If you would like to join me, you can be a hobby demonstrator, or you can just decide that you want to get the $125 worth of product for $99 free shipping, plus a free bundle during celebration, and you don't have to continue being a demonstrator. Alrighty, and don't forget the $50, every $50 you get a free product from the celebration catalog. Okay, so there is 3 of the same rectangles here, and then 1 inch strips here and 1 inch strips on the side. Now we're going to put it in the portrait mode first, for portrait side. All right, and this is what we're going to do. All right, we're going to get rid of this rectangle and tab these squares this way, okay? And then we'll turn it and we'll tab these squares that way. Okay, not too bad. All right, so we're going to start in the portrait mode. We're going to start on the bottom left-hand side, and we're going to cut up to the second score line next to this rectangle. We'll just cut that right straight up to the second score line. Okay, then we're going to remove this bottom rectangle and wedge each side of the square. Okay, so that's that. Now we're going to do the same thing on the right side. Come in one score line from this rectangle here, cut up 2 score lines, remove this piece on the bottom of the square, and then wedge the square. Okay, and that's what we have. Now I'm going to turn it so that this is our flap. The flap is on the right hand side. Okay, there's 2 rectangles here. We're going to cut the inside part of each of these rectangles straight, and then we're going to wedge each side of the square that's in the middle. Okay, we're going to turn it 180 so that the flap is towards the left. Go to this middle square, cut both sides straight on the rectangles, and then wedge the square and it's in the middle. And this is what your cardstock should look like after you're done scoring and cutting. Now we need our tear and tape. And now this is the outside of the box, okay? I want you to put tear and tape on these 2 square tabs that are in the middle, right, of these 2 rectangles, okay? Put one close to the score line and one close to the edge. Okay, I'm going to take off this side first. This is my take your pick tool in case you're new. Okay, and what we're going to do is we're going to take the line that's at the top of the square here and make it even with the bottom of this rectangle that's closer to this side. Okay, and just make sure that this and the rectangle are straight together. Okay, and then we're going to go to the other side and do the same thing. Just make sure that you attach the flap, the tab here, to the part that has the most of the box, not to this rectangle on the end. Okay, and take the top line of this tab and make it straight with this bottom of that rectangle. Okay, all right. Now we're going to put tear and tape on these rectangles that are at the edge of this lonely rectangle here. And I'm going to put it all the way at the edge. Okay. And then I'm going to make sure that this line and this line lines up with this piece and that piece of the rest of the box. Okay, so just make sure that they're nice and straight. Great. Okay, and that is most of your box right there. Now, you could decide to, instead of making the belly band like this, you could decide that you want to just put Velcro in here and attach your circles right on the lid. That's fine too. All right, so now we're going to put our DSP on. All right, so these 3 big pieces that are 5 1/4 by 2, I'm going to put on the front flap, the inside of the body, and the back. And I'm using liquid glue. Okay, and then I'm going to put the 5 1/4 by 3/4 and 2 by 3/4 on the sides. Okay, so now we're going to let this dry while we do some stamping. And I neglected to tell you we need basic white. Alright, so first we're going to use the pumpkin pie. And we're going to do the inside of the squirrel. Now you could make him gray. In my neighborhood, my squirrels are gray. But this fits the fall colors, so that's what we're going to do. Oh, I must have got something on my stamp. Okay, let's turn it over. Ooh. And put your Stampin' Pierce mat underneath. There we go. Okay, now we need early espresso. And I'm going to do the body, the outline. All right, now what I line up is this side of the tail and the ears. And there you go. It's a tiny, tiny bit off, but that's okay. Okay, and then I fussy cut it out, which I've already done for us. Alrighty. And then we also need our circle, our white circle. Now the sentiment on here that I want says hey there, but I want the there under the hey. So I'm just going to use I got this little pen that has the little page markers in it. It's a highlighter. So I'm going to put covering over, whoops, wrong side, over the there. And we're just going to, you can use a post-it note too. We're just going to stamp hey. I'm going to shoot for up over here. Okay, so I'm just going to put hey. I'm going to pull this off. And then I'm going to stamp hey right there. Okay, whoops. And then I'm going to clean it off. I'm just going to clean it off quick with a baby wipe. And then I'm going to cover this one. This stamp just happens to fit over this stamp, these tags. So that's what I'm using today. Alright, and then we're going to stamp there. And I'll pull the hay off. And I'm just going to stamp it right under the hay. Okay. Alright, now we're going to glue the basic white to the bumblebee circle. I got a tiniest little bit of the tea. I must not have cleaned off enough. So I'm going to use this sand eraser. I got this on Amazon. I'm just going to give it a little bit. Just a little. There we go. That's better. Alright, and then I'm going to attach the bumblebee circle to the Cajun Craze circle. I'm going to get rid of this so I don't get it gluey. Alright, and then we're going to put our squirrel on there with some dimensionals. What I like about the two-step stamping on this is you don't have to worry about, it's a cute character and you don't have to worry about Stampin' blends, which I like to do it sometimes, but sometimes it's just so fast and easy if the little creature is done for you. Okay, Now we're gonna bring in our box again. And we're gonna take the piece of Cajun Craze that is 1.5 by 8. And we're gonna start on the front. It really doesn't matter, I guess. And then we're just gonna bend it around the box gently. Just leave it so that you can kind of see where the bends are. You can make a little mark with your fingers and take it off. And then just make sure that it's straight. Now you don't want it too tight, but you want it tight enough to stay on, but not too tight so it's too difficult to pull it off. All right. And then we're going to put this on the front and just use some liquid glue. Put it right here at the top. And then you want to glue it, but just make sure that it's not so tight. Back off just a tiny, tiny bit so that this will move nicely. All right. Okay, here we go. All right, and then I'm gonna just put glue down the middle of my circle. Oops. And put it, make sure this is in the middle. Put it right on top of the band. Let that dry a minute. And then I have the leaves. Okay, again, these are from the Giving Gifts dies. This one has leaves too, but you'd have to fussy cut them, so I just cut them out from this die. All right, and first I'm gonna put down the biggest Cajun Craze. And I'm just gonna stick it under his tail a little bit. Then I'm going to take the smaller of the Bumblebee, and I'm only putting glue on the bottom part. And I'm going to stick that over the end of the side of the Cajun Craze. And then I'm going to stick this one kind of under this side of the Cajun Craze. And then the last one, oops. I'm going to tuck in under that. So it looks like he's stepping on some leaves. Alrighty. And for the final touch, I'm going to use some of these matte decorative dots. Now I think this is really cherry cobbler and real red, but I think when you put them up next to the Cajun Craze, they look really good. So the only thing with this one, now this is, take your pick tool, I'm going to change this side, so you just twist it around, and then twist it back, and then I have my little spatula, because these don't really like to be picked up with the sticky part. Alright, so I'm just going to take, using the darker ones, oops, right there, here it is. And you can just grab it and leave part of it sticking off, so that really helps out. I'm going to put one right here, and then I'm going to use two small ones, and I'm going to put one over here, and one up there. And that's it. That's my project for today. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you've never heard of Mallomars, if they have them in your store, you should check them out. They're like a thin cookie with marshmallow and then covered all in chocolate. They're great. Okay, I will see you next time. Please subscribe, and if you'd like to purchase any of these products, my address for Stampin' Up is at the top of the screen, CathrynTman.stampinup.net, and please subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye.